Hi guys, welcome back to the Xeon Remnants channel. It's Raven once again, and here we are here with a good friend of mine, Eagle, and Eagle's today playing
Qliphort.
Qliphort. The bane of my existence. The infinite battle of the Noble Knights versus the Qliphorts. Eagle's gonna
Always even.
Alright, Eagle's gonna show us his version of the deck and why it annoys me so much. Start with the monsters.
Alright, starting off with monsters, basically the most important guys that are running the deck here. Got Monolith and Scout. These are what I aim for to get on my pendulum scales, 1 and 9. Monolith being the main draw power in the deck. Anytime you tribute a monster, it's going to allow you to draw for each one at your end phase. Scout, of course, is pay 100 life points once per turn, get a search for any Qliphort card, not just a monster card from your deck, add it to your hand.
And are these only one-ofs, or do you play, I forget, do you play multiples of these?
Scout is not limited. Could run multiple monoliths, but get to it later on. I have ways to protect them, keep them from getting popped. Moving on to the next, 3 by Carrier and 3 by Helix. And the reason why I run 3 of these guys here is because this is what's going to clear the field for you. They're your tribute fodder for your level 7 and 8 Qliphort monsters later on. Helix here specifically is going to get rid of spell or traps on the field when it's tributed, and Qliphort's going to go ahead and move a monster from the field back to the hand.
Good stuff. Annoying nonetheless, but the Qliphort spam is real.
2 by Cephalopod. He's what's going to save you from all those scout searches that you're going to do whenever he's tribute summoned. You're basically going to compare your graveyard to your opponent's, and whatever the difference is, you're going to gain in life points. So, say for example, I have 0 monsters, my opponent has 5. You can multiply that 5 by 300 and gain that in life points, and also do damage to your opponent. So it's a good burn and heal at the same time.
And that never happens because Noble Knights don't die.
Here's one of my favorites here, Stealth. Tribute effect. So
okay, wait, I can't see him. Oh, there. Okay, I'm sorry. He's camouflaged. Okay, no. He's stealth.
Stealth. When he's tribute summoned, you get to return any card, not just a monster or a spell or trap, any card back to the player's hand, and your opponent cannot activate any effects to counteract this. 3 by Disc. Particular reason I run 3 of him is because he is your floodgate. Once he's tribute summoned, you get to special summon 2 additional Qliphort monsters from your deck to the field. The catch with that is that they get destroyed at the end of the end phase. So I typically like to bring out some Helix or Carriers whenever I get him out on the field.
And he looks like a futuristic Yugioh.
Here is my OTK monster. I've actually been able to 1 turn OTK this opponents with this monster here. Awesome effect. When he is tribute summoned using a Qliphort monster as a tribute, he gets to not only attack twice, but he also does piercing damage. Now combine that with another card you will see later on here, and you'll see exactly why he is my 1-turn OTK.
Boo. We don't like it, the shell.
The shell is awesome.
Shell, go to hell.
And compensating for the recently banned towers is Skybase. Not quite as effective, doesn't get the power boost that our normal rank level 9 and level 1 scales would give him, but he does have the neat effect of taking control of an opponent's monster once per turn.
We don't like Skybase.
Additional monsters I like to throw in. Trampolinx, considering she is a scale 4, works perfect for pendulum summoning. Also gives him the added effect of allowing me to scout search twice in 1 turn. So if I have Trampolinx in 1 scale, Scout in the other, do a scout search, use Trampolinx, special summon, use Trampolinx to pop scout to my hand, replay, and lets me search again.
When did you add this? I don't remember this being there.
I had it for a while now, actually.
Maybe I never gave you a chance to play it then.
Perfect Machine King. That's thanks to Raven here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You stole that idea from me, and
it works better for me.
Oh, I know it does.
So, Perfect Machine King gets buffed 500 attack points for every machine monster on the field, excluding himself. And fun fact about Qliphorts, they are all machines.
Yeah, and Perfect Machine King is the official Yu-Gi-Oh card of the Xeon Remnants channel because he looks like a f***ing Gundam. Look at that, it's awesome. Love this card, so cool.
Frontline Observer is mainly just an oh shit card. Dead draw if I happen to have it in my hand. For end of the first end phase, I get to add a Earth Pendulum monster to my hand. And at the end of my second end phase, I contribute him to add any Earth monster to my hand. Very good.
And he looks like a Digimon. Observermon. And you lucky son of a bitch.
Recently pulled this guy from a Cross Souls booster box.
Wait, Ghost Soaker's a guy?
Girl, whatever.
You know, there's a lot of like androgynous cards, Dragon Pulse being the main offender of that.
And everything Arrow Mage.
Yeah.
Ghost Ogre here will allow me to basically destroy any card that's targeting for an effect. Doesn't negate, but does target. Also doubles as a awesome tuner. And I only use him to tune for one of my only synchro monsters in the deck, which I rarely ever use. So that's it for monsters, totaling out to 22.
22.
Moving on to these magic cards. We have Sacrifice, limited to 1 for good reason. 4 different effects. Equipped to a Qliphort card, gain 300 attack. Also counts as 2 tributes for another Qliphort monster. Cannot be destroyed by battle. And when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, gives me a search for a Qliphort monster. So, tribute this for a monster, get my scout out as soon as possible.
We hates
important.
this card, Precious.
2 by Pendulum Penetrable, this is what I was saying earlier, to protect my scout and monolith. Very, very important. Pissed off on many of people.
Me included. My big king does not like that.
2 Summoner Arts. Get the scout out as soon as possible, search for monolith, and get everything going.
Very nice. 1 hollow, 1 non-hollow. You know, we gotta give love to the common cards too.
Raigeki, because
f*** you.
Swords, because swords. Not too much, too many people use Pot of Riches, but it works actually pretty well for me. Shuffle 3 Pendulum monsters from my deck to my deck from my graveyard or face-up extra deck. This works really well for Pendulum monsters. One of the few ways they actually do not go back to the face-up extra deck is if their summon is negated, which people love to do to me. So
Bottomless Triple.
threw in Pot of Riches to go ahead and bring them back into my hand.
Yeah, I mean, you always have
Back into my deck.
You always have cards in
get
your
to draw.
extra deck, so I mean, I always see you use this because if I blow everything up with the king, you're always like, oh, Pot of Riches.
And if you're running Pendulums and don't have Wavering Eyes, you are wrong. Love to use Wavering Eyes. Only run 1. Don't have much of a use for it, but I love to use it because for those odd situations where I don't have any of my 2 Scout or Monolith, and I have 2 other scales, I can just place 2 random scales, play Wavering Eyes, kill both of them, get my Scout, search for Monolith, and then Pendulum summon my 2 scales that were just destroyed.
I never looked at this card art, but I just noticed that Demon Girl, she's like choking the... See, women are the devil. This card proves it. She even has a tail and everything. Look at this. Ah!
And going back to the shell earlier, this is what makes it that 1-turn OTK. So, limiter removal, machines, double its attack, gets destroyed at the end phase, but when you have shell, it doesn't matter, because it attacks twice and does piercing damage.
Ridiculous.
Moving on to traps. One of my favorites here. This is Skill Drain that has no effect on Qliphorts whatsoever. Level 4 or lower normal summon monsters, effect are negated. Level 5 or higher special summon monsters, effects are negated but also banished when it leaves the field. The caveat to this is that there has to be a Qliphort card on the field for this to be able to stay on the field. This includes any Pendulum Scales or field spell cards you may have.
But this doesn't work on Xyz because they're rank monsters, right? It says, I'm pretty sure it's level 4 or lower.
Yep, does not work on Xyz.
So if you actually get an Xyz out, you can still get effects off because Recklate only works on level monsters and Xyz are rank monsters. So
Climate Change, this is what's going to allow me to add up to 3 Qliphort cards from my face-up extra deck to my hand. Now the keyword there is up to, so if I have 1, I can add 1 up to a maximum of 3. And this works really well if I'm forced to use a monster as a barrier for some reason and he gets destroyed, I can add him back to my hand without having to worry about wasting the neat little tribute effects that they might have. Bottomless, because bottomless.
Yep. Must run the bottomless.
Torrential, because my monsters come back anyways.
Yep. And Torrential's awesome.
Breakthrough.
Same because breakthrough.
Yeah.
All right, that never happened. Technical difficulties. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, skill drain. You were saying does
Skill drain. So,
wait,
that's
what?
not skill drain.
What the fuck?
That's skill drain.
Gets user error. That's not my fault.
All right, so skill drain. As you may know, pay 1,000 life points. All card effects on the field are negated. This works especially well when it comes to your Qliphort monsters. If you follow along, you can normal summon them in as a level 4, 1800 attack, 1000 defense. But they do not get any of their special effects because they need to be either tributed or tribute summoned. However, because their effect goes off to normal summon them as a level 4 from the hand, once you do normal summon them, if skill drain is active, they will actually stay their normal level and keep their full attack. It's a neat
So basically, normally, if you had skill drain, you would play Helix. Helix would go down to 1800 level 4. But because skill drain's on the field, that effect's negated, so you get to normal summon him without tributing, and he still gets to be 2400. But you can't use his effects. But it's still good because, you know, if you need a strong monster, you don't have to tribute for him, or pendulum, you just play him and you're like, ha ha ha.
Right.
I've seen this before many times. It's no bueno.
Vanity, because I rarely ever have cards that go to the graveyard, so it works pretty well. Sometimes can hurt me, but not as much as you would think.
Yeah, I've seen you pop your own vanities anyway, so.
Yep. Quaking, that's a new addition. Took out the regular Mirror Force because Quaking Mirror Force has a tendency to mess everybody up, typically because they already have their tribute monsters on the field. And one of the few ways you can get your monsters off the field once you use Quaking Mirror Force on them is to tribute them.
Nice.
And last is Sealing Ceremony of Mokutan. He's a pretty awesome card. It's really anti-meta. Any decks that operate inside the graveyard is where this is gonna really shine. Once per turn, you contribute 1 face-up Earth monster to banish up to 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard and remove them from play. So all the Qliphort monsters are Earth monsters, so I have an unlimited supply.
And then they go back to your face-up extra deck after you.
Exactly.
And the ninja, there's scapegoat ninjas. Look at that. How do scapegoat ninjas throw throwing stars? Questions that will never be answered. And extra deck time.
All right, extra deck. So my extra deck mainly consists of rank 4 XCs. Rarely get to use it because
you don't need to. You don't really need. It's like Cosmo. You don't really need your extra deck, but it's there in case something stupid happens.
All Qliphort monsters are going to have this neat little effect in there that says that you cannot special summon monsters unless they are a Qli. So they're mainly a no-shit card in the event that you don't have any pendulum scales, but you do have some monsters on the field that you can possibly make some moves with. So Black Ship of Corn, Rhapsody and Berserk, Masquerade, Abyss Dweller, Steel Swarm, Deuteros, 101, Gaga, Dark Rebellion, Heartland Draco, my favorite.
Yeah, well, they say it's like your favorite card.
And Castel. These are all my rank 4s here. Typically don't use the majority of these. Really only tend to use either Honor Arc, Castel, Heartland, or Dark Rebellion here. Heartland is actually my favorite because while it has materials you cannot target for attack and can attack your life points directly every time you detach, so it's a nice way to get your opponent frustrated.
I know you like Heartland. You're always playing that card.
I have a couple rank 8 XYZs, and and they are all gimmick puppets.
It's just something new that you added recently, right? Because you didn't have them before.
Did not have them before, new addition, but mainly what they do is, starting off with number 15 here. Give me just a moment.
2 hours later.
So, number 15, gimmick puppet up to twice per turn. During your main phase, you can detach one material from this card and target one special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it. If it was an XYZ material, XYZ monster, inflict damage equal to its attack points. Really good for people who operate outside the extra deck. Set this one off.
So as an XYZ, it's like Ring Destruction,
Pretty much.
except you don't take damage.
Number 40, I like him in particular. 2 level 8s, detach 1, add string counters to every monster on the field. At the end of my opponent's next turn, destroy all monsters with string counters. Really good way to clear the field.
Nice.
And number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo. This is a little bit more difficult to get out there. It needs 3 level 8 monsters. This will really come into play when I have that skill drain out on the field. That way they keep their normal ranks there. But once per turn, I can detach a monster to add a destiny counter onto my opponent. And once they have 3 destiny counters, I win the duel.
Nice.
And my only synchro here is Clearwing, because why the fuck wouldn't you run Clearwing in any deck?
Unless you're not synchroing. But Clearing is awesome. What does Clearing do again, in case people don't know?
So for the people who don't know, basically negates. So if a level 5 or higher monster targets any card on the field, negate that monster's effect and destroy it. And the second effect is that if a card targets a level 5 or higher monster on the field, negate and destroy that card as well. And you can do both of those once per turn, during either player's turn.
Very nice. Very nice.
Pissed off many people, including today.
Yeah, today, Clearwing raged into some people, even though I told them to book a Moon It. No one listens to Raven. Alright, guys. And that was Eagle's Qliphort deck. I've faced him many times with this deck with Noble Knights, and we're pretty even. And that about does it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative. And I know you guys are wondering what Eagle looks like, so here you go. Look at it, what's